Okay guys, I'm gonna try to make this video as best as I can because I'm trying to hold this thing with one hand and trying to demonstrate this method with the other one. But I've gotten this question asked by a lot of the guys on how I do my vinyl tops, and it's pretty simple. I mean, I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's a little challenging probably for the first time, but once you master it and you've done quite a number of them, it'll be easier on you. But it's not all that difficult, and of course, like always, it's a lot of fun. And but there's a few steps that you have to follow. First of all, this is what I use. I use the evergreen um, strips here, the plastic strips. This is the actual size right there, just in case you guys want to use them. Make sure you go with a small one because by the time you put primer, paint, clear, and everything, this becomes a little bit bigger here. So you have to, the scale, the fidelity of the scale has to be exact. And if you go with one slightly bigger than that one, by the time you put your primers and everything else, it's just gonna be too thick. And if you notice, you see how thick the actual one on the window is, the trim on the window. It's almost the same size as the trim on the side. So you got to keep that quite to scale so they come out right. And what I usually do, I usually use my liquid glue, liquid cement. I like to use this Tamiya one. And what I would do, I would place the strip, and if you notice, it's pretty flexible. It's a very flexible piece of plastic. I would put it in place. I would add my glue first in one little corner right here, in one little corner first, just to have that set in place, and then I would slowly start putting it in place, and then glue it on both sides with the glue. Like something like this. I'm not gonna try to mess it up, of course, because I've already done it. But like everything else, just go with your glue from one side to the other on both sides of the strip itself until you cover the whole thing. Then you just cut them at the corners, over here. Oops, right there. And then at the other end over here, just cut it right there, right at the edge. And the same thing with the sides. When you do the sides, you have to make sure that, of course, you make those bends to look natural, like a natural bend. You know what I'm saying? Don't try not to make anything square on that because it's just gonna look funny. And like I said, once you do them a couple of times, you'll be able to to see how it feels to bend this plastic. Because like everything else, once you start doing it more often, it'll become easier on you. Let me put the cover on this because I don't want this thing drying up on me. And basically that's what I do. That's about it. Just cut it right at the edge right here, and cut them right at the edge. Make sure you look at your reference pictures of the real car so you could know exactly where everything is placed, and you would know where to make your lines and stuff like that. And I use the same strip for everything. But one thing that you have to make sure that you always have to remember, you have to create an overlap right here, just like the real one. The real one has an overlap because the vinyl tops have an overlap. Once they get to this corner from here to over here. So what I usually do is that I put primer in the inside. I would put primer in the inside of this, on this side over here. Heavy primer on this side, as well as on this side over here, heavy primer. Then I start sanding the whole thing down to create an overlap. Don't put primer over here because you want to be able to see the overlap on this side. Put the heavy primer in the middle. Sand these down, of course, because they're still a little bit too big. Sand them down first. Put your primer in the middle, and that will create an overlap that will look real on this other side. And then once that's done, all you have to do is just shoot. Usually what I do is just shoot enamel, semi-gloss enamel from afar, at least 12 inches away with the airbrush. And that creates a texture that looks like a vinyl top. I would after I let it dry, I usually just go ahead and sand it just a tad to bring it down a little bit. But that's basically it, guys. That's the vinyl tops are not very hard to do. You just have to be a little bit creative, and that's about it. Yeah, I can't make the video longer than this because if not, I'm not gonna be able to post it on Facebook. So let me leave it at that. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them right under the video right here, and I'll try to answer them as much as I can. Okay, with images and everything. Okay, guys. Hope that helps.